Hi everyone, it's Kaylee, and today I'm going to share with you a really fast and easy way to get clients for your business offline. Now, I know I normally focus on online marketing methods and getting client attraction through online strategies, but this is a strategy that's worked incredibly well for my business that I think as entrepreneurs, when we're so focused on building an audience online, we forget how powerful this is and how effectively it can work to grow our businesses. So with this particular strategy, I've actually grown my business quite a lot. So for those of you who don't know, I moved to Newcastle 2 years ago, and I actually move back to Victoria tomorrow. So I'm literally, I had to unpack because I'd packed up all my stuff ready to put it in the car to move tomorrow, and then realised I need my stand for my camera, but that's all right. So when I moved up here, one of the first things I did was to look at what local networking groups were available, because I literally knew one person, and she's amazing, and I've been great friends with Marissa for a long time now. But when I moved up here, I had no business connections apart from the lovely Marissa, and it was really important to build that community around me as a way of also getting clients. So using local networking groups, local business groups, was a really effective way of growing my business, of getting clients. And so I actually ended up hosting one a few months ago called Presence and Purpose. And not only do I love the group, the women in this group are fabulous. I've actually had the privilege and the honour of working with over 20 of these women. So, you know, in different formats, whether it was they've bought a Facebook Live to Thrive, or we've done one-on-one coaching or testimonials that sell, in whatever format it was, this is a group that averages about 20 women in attendance each month when the event happens. And obviously the makeup of that group changes a little bit every month. But I've worked with over 20 of these women, which is pretty amazing. And it's been a total ball. I've had so much fun doing it. But I wanted to point out to you how powerful connecting with and working with people in local business groups can be. So as I said, over 20 people from one group that I've been able to work with, the clients that I've been able to work with and help support in their business journeys. So I thought I would share with you today exactly the steps that I follow to get clients from local business groups. So the very first thing I did, and I've done previously when I've moved to other locations, is to find out all of the business groups or the networking groups that are available in the particular location. So if you, for example, in Newcastle, there's a lady that puts together a newsletter every month that tells you all the business events that are coming up. But if you don't know of a resource like that, it doesn't matter. There's a really easy way you can find out what groups are available, what groups are happening. So it's as simple as Googling business networking or business group and adding your town in the search. So it's a special tip that will help narrow down the search results and get you more relevant results is to use the plus symbol between each word, because this tells Google to look for the whole phrase rather than just business or just group or just the location. So for example, for me, I might search for business plus group plus Newcastle. Really, really easy way of finding all the local groups. Now, for me, what I did when I first moved up here was literally to go to each of those groups once each. So I attended every one of them once. And the reason I did this was I wanted to get a feel. Oh, there you go, Marissa. So there's a option for helping you find local business groups. Yeah, just using the plus symbol in your Google search, like your keywords, really narrows down the results. So, an easy tip. But, you know, I didn't know who was attending these groups. So what I did was I went along to get a feel and an understanding of who attended each one. And I focused on the paid groups. And the reason I did that was because if people have paid to attend a networking group, a business group, whatever format it might take, it means that they're willing to invest in their business, which means they're also more likely to be willing to invest with you if you happen to have the services that they need. If you go for all freebie groups or freebie events, you might find that people that are attending are more freebie seekers, or that they're not in a position to invest yet. And that's okay. They might be in the future, but right now they're not. So they're not going to be your ideal client if they haven't got the funds to invest with you. So I chose to go along to all of them, and then I narrowed my focus down to 2 or 3 events every month that I attended. You might like to take the step of actually contacting each group and asking, what are the typical members like? What are their businesses? What stage of business are they at in terms of size? Those sorts of things. But I prefer to go myself because I find you don't really get a full picture. Like, people will definitely try to help you if you ask what type of members attend, but you can't get a true understanding unless you go yourself. So that was the choice I made. So having worked out which groups you're going to attend, and I suggest finding at least 3 that you're going to attend this month, because you're not going to get the results if you don't take the action. Having found those groups, you want to know how you're going to introduce yourself. So I know one of the things that I used to do in the past, when people said to me, so what do you do? I would go, online marketing, and they've got nothing to work with there. Like, they're not going to ask more questions because they're like, okay, well, she's an online marketer. What you want to do is tell them who you work with, what you help them do, and why that's important, or what result that gives. So, for example, I work with business women to get lots of clients without exhausting themselves. So I work with business women who need tons of clients and make lots of profit, because, as you know from the name of this group, I'm all about profit, rocket entrepreneurs, without exhausting them. Because a lot of the people that are my potential clients, my ideal clients, have been trying a ton of different strategies and nothing's sticking for them. They're not getting traction with that. So having said that, someone that I'm talking to is likely to go, they know someone who might need that help. They may need that help themselves, or they're likely to say, so how does that work? In terms of online marketing, there's copywriting, there's social media, there's a whole range of strategies you can use. So what I actually do then is, knowing and having asked the other person about their business and what they do and what they're trying to achieve, I will give an example from the results of recent clients to give them a picture of what it could look like working with me and what sort of results they could expect from working with me. So, for example, if I'm talking about Facebook Live, or someone that's potentially going to get benefit from Facebook Live, I could say, well, look, recently I worked with my client Diana Mills, who owns a business in Nowra, and what we did, she has a massage business and a holistic health coaching business, and through doing a Facebook Live and sending that to her subscriber base, her newsletter audience, she was able to book 6 clients that afternoon. So I'm telling them, hey, this person has used what I've taught them, so I'm teaching them, I'm giving them the skills, and this is the result they got. They got 6 clients that very afternoon after they'd used Facebook Live and sent out the recording in their newsletter. So it helps people understand, not only, because the thing about when you're talking with someone, with a potential client, they don't care so much about how you get to the result. What they care about is that you will get a result, and it's the result they want. So it's what's in it for them. How you get there isn't so important to them. So being able to talk about how you've helped someone get that result in terms of what the result was is what's important. So giving them that example. Now, from there, the thing that's likely to happen is, if you are someone that they believe can help them, they will probably ask for your business card. If not, that's okay. Thank them for their time and move on. Go and connect with someone else. But if they ask for your business card, here's a little secret that I use really well in my business. So when people ask me for a business card, I haven't actually had business cards for years. In fact, it was only when I moved to Newcastle that people started asking me for one, and I was like, well, I don't actually have it. What I do is instead ask them for their business card. And the reason I do this is two things. A, it's flattering to have someone ask for your business card. But the second thing is it puts me in control of the relationship in the sense of I'm then able to follow up with the person. You know, as a business owner, it's so easy to get distracted and go, oh, I'm meant to ring such and such. I must do that. I'll do that such and such time. And we never actually get to it. Whereas if it's me taking their business card, I obviously have a vested interest in following up with them to be able to help them and help them on their way to growing their business and solving the challenge that they're facing. So I will follow up, and it puts the accountability on me. And I found that a really powerful way to grow my business. So instead of giving out your card, if you have a card, great, give them a copy, but make sure you get their card as well, because that's your way to not only have their contact details, but for you to be able to take the initiative and the authority in the relationship so that you can follow up with them rather than being dependent on whether or not they think to do it, to follow up with you again. If they get distracted, it gives you that control of the relationship and the ability to connect with them and build that rapport and potentially sign them on as a client. So as I said, this has worked really, really well for my business. Just from one networking group alone, I've been able to work with over 20 clients. What I will say is when you take that business card from them, tell them when you're going to follow up with them. So, I might say something like, great, thanks so much. What I'll do is I'll get in touch with you. I'll give you a call and we'll set up a time to have a chat about your needs and get to know whether we're the right fit or not. And I will give them a time frame. So I will say within the next 48 hours, for example. And I keep it pretty short because you don't want them to forget who you are before you make contact with them. And the second part of that is actually do what you've promised. Follow up with them. If you've said within 48 hours, follow up with them within 48 hours. Like, we all talk about points of difference and competitive advantage and things like that. How do we stand out from the crowd? The simplest way to do it is to actually follow through on what you've said you're going to do, because so many business owners don't. It's your first way and first opportunity to build trust with that potential client. And as you know, we've got to have know, like, and trust. They need to know who we are, obviously. They can't buy from us if they don't know who we are. They need to see that there's a good fit in the sense of they believe that you're the one to be able to help them solve the problem they're facing, but they also have to trust you. And by following up and doing what you say you will do, by following through on your promises, that's a great way to show that they should trust you. That builds trust with them. So it's such a simple thing, and yet so many people neglect to do it. So make sure you follow up as promised. So that's the 5 steps. First one, find your local groups. Second one is to know your elevator pitch or statement. So who you work with, what you help them do, and the result they'll get. Know some examples. So have some examples ready to share of how you've helped clients achieve the results that the person you're talking to is wanting to achieve as well. So it might be, I gave the example of a health coach, but if you happen to know someone is a graphic designer, for example, and you have an example from working with a graphic designer, share that story. Make it the most relevant example you can. And as I said, take their business card because it is a form of flattery, but also so it puts you in control of the situation and gives you the opportunity to follow up, and then actually do what you've promised. Give it a time frame and follow up as promised. So I hope that's been really helpful. Now, if this is something that you're like, actually I hadn't thought about that for a while, or perhaps you've forgotten, or you're a little bit nervous to try, you're not, we've talked about what to do, but you're like, what do I actually say for me? How do I say it for my business? If that's something that you would like help with, I actually have just a couple of spaces available next week. So as I said at the start, I'm traveling back to Victoria and the very bottom of Victoria as of tomorrow, and that's a whole 17 hours driving. So this week is wiped out, and I have lots of clients booked in for next week, but I've just got 2 spots where I can literally help you go through these steps now that you know them and tailor them to your business so you get clients just as I've been able to do from local groups or local business groups. So if you would like help with that, my one-on-one sessions are normally $3.97 for an hour. If you take up one of these 2 places, because I have only got the 2 spots available next week, if that's something you'd like to do, if you'd like to be able to get results from your local networks, your business networks, because it is the easiest and the fastest way to do it, especially if you haven't got a big audience online yet. If you're still building and you need to be able to get the clients and the cash flow in the meantime, this is a great strategy to do it, and I will help you customize it exactly to what you need for your business. If that's something of interest to you, I'm going to offer the 2 spots for just $147 so that it's available to everybody. It's something that's really accessible, and you can be out getting clients by the end of next week if that's something you would like to do. I would highly encourage it. As I said, it's helped my business so much, and because I'm moving, I'm actually going to be doing that process again as of next week. All you have to do is click on the link in the text above this Facebook Live. Click on the link, it will take you through to PayPal. What happens is once you book the session, I will get in contact within 24 hours. And as I said, following up as promised is vitally important. So you will hear from me within the 24 hours because I pride myself on following through. And then we'll book a session and get your elevator pitch, your strategy, your customized approach to getting clients from local business groups set up so you can be booking, buying tickets to your local networking groups and getting clients from them by the end of next week. So I hope that's been really helpful. Don't forget, if you are following this, hit follow if you're watching, and that will enable you to get notifications when I go live with lots more business strategies in future. If you would like to take up one of the 2 spots available, just click the link, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.